Hi, it's Jamie Blazinski, neural retraining specialist with Mast Cell Advanced Diagnostics, and I am here with Dr. Brzana. We've been asking her some great questions about COVID-19, and today, Dr. Brzana, we would love to know what are some of the natural preventatives for COVID-19 that are available that would be helpful?
Absolutely. Well, let's start with the absolute basics. Wash your hands. Wash them frequently. Okay. And when I say that, I don't really mean the hand sanitizer that you can't buy any place, because the hand sanitizer doesn't actually do nearly as good a job as an old fashioned soap. And it doesn't need to be the fancy pump soaps. It doesn't need to be an antibacterial soap. You actually can use good old fashioned like ivory soap or whatever bar soap you can find out there. The reason for it is that this is not a living bacteria. It's not bacteria, it's viral. And it's got this fatty membrane around it. And when you use soap, it has an emulsification process. So if you think an easy way to think about emulsification is anything that incorporates a fat and then something that's more water based. So if you think about making a mayonnaise where you're adding the fat and the vinegar together, or making a dressing and having your Italian vinaigrette come together into one, that's an emulsification. So what's happening with your soap is it's actually doing the same thing. It's emulsifying this virus and it washes down the drain, and we say goodbye to COVID-19, and we don't have it on our body anymore. So that's a really basic, easy, anytime you come in contact with anything outside of your home environment, you should be doing that. That includes if you get your mail, if you get a package, if you decide you do need to go out and you go grocery shopping, even if you go for a walk with yourself or your dog, when you come home, just wash your hands really well. If you're going into the grocery store, clothing, take it off immediately, throw it directly into the laundry, take a shower, use soap, get dressed into clean clothes. If you're going out frequently, have one pair of shoes that you wear out. You don't need to have the best fashion statement. Leave those shoes someplace outside of the home, whether it's in the garage or on the front porch. You don't want to be bringing virus particles in with you if you're going out to the pharmacy or grocery stores or other necessary places, or God forbid, you're still having to go into an office to work. So those are your basics. Everybody should be doing a basic hygiene. Certainly keep in mind, as much as we talk about using natural cleaners here at Mast Cell Advanced Diagnostics, this is not the time for that. It will not kill. No amount of vinegar in the world is going to kill COVID-19. So either yourself or maybe a family member, if you have strong chemical sensitivities, needs to use something like a Lysol or bleach or an alcohol product to do the cleaning. I do find that alcohol is typically better tolerated for cleaning for those of you who have really strong chemical sensitivities. There's less odor, it doesn't stay around very long, it evaporates really quickly, but it still does a wonderful job in terms of killing COVID-19. So that's a really good one in terms of those sort of cleaning scenarios. It's hard to buy isopropyl alcohol, but the alcohol is a different type of alcohol that's used to clean glasses, and it's still readily available. So, look at whatever websites you can find that for glasses and things. You can buy that and have it shipped to the house, and then use it to disinfect your box and your counter that you might have put the box on. And those are really good basic preventatives. Moving into what you can do to prevent that virus from adhering into your throat and sinuses. When we are exposed, let's say somebody coughs or sneezes in our environment, they happen to have the COVID-19 infection, we can prevent those virus particles from adhering. And so some of the ways that we can do really easily is to do a saltwater gargle. That really helps salt can kill anything. So anything in the throat, it's going to kind of deactivate, so to speak. If you want to make it a little bit more potent, if you don't have strong histamine issues, a little bit of lemon juice in the mix can also be really helpful. Personally, I actually like the taste a whole lot better. I have a hard time with just straight warm salt water that you normally gargle with. A lot of times people find it actually kind of makes them want to gag a little bit. When you add the lemon, it actually kind of gives it more of like a lemonade kind of flavor. So as long as you know you can tolerate that, you're not actually actively drinking it. So if you're not super sensitive, you could actually go ahead and do a little bit of lemon juice in there. If you tolerate it and you really want to add an antiviral punch, you can add some garlic to the mix. It needs to be fresh. uncooked, not garlic powder, straight up clove garlic that you're going to mince into that juicing. It would work. Add the juice from the garlic in there. It will be incredibly nasty. So you really need to have a pretty easy palate. Frankly, if you're already starting to feel sick, you've probably lost your sense of smell and taste, and you really need it, and you probably could tolerate it. So that might work. Using like a neti pot with a saline rinse, or so some of them, they have the medical ones you can buy that are these like squirt things to take it through and rinse the sinuses with saline. Another really good way to get rid of those virus particles before they adhere. These things are safe to do. You can do them before you have any symptoms, and you can do them throughout this period in hopes of making sure you don't get COVID-19.
Will they, Dr. Pisano, will they reduce the impact if you start, say you do have COVID-19 and you start implementing these things? Could they reduce how badly you're hit with this?
If you start it from the get-go, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're getting rid of some of the virus when you do that. You're washing it out of your body. So what happens, or you're killing it if it's in the throat and then spitting it out. So you're not having as much to replicate. I mean, viruses, they basically are hijacking your body and using your DNA to make their proteins that then mess with you. It's
Wow.
I mean, they're little tiny little nasty DNA replicating machines. So they're getting in there and creating this new RNA message, and your body is saying, okay, I have new instructions, and they're not great instructions. They're not the ones we want. And it takes a while for your immune system to say, hey, wait a minute, this is an intruder. This is not my body making these messages, and we need to go after it because that is not the right message that I should be hearing. And so, particularly with this virus, because the first thing it does is shut down part of your immune system. It's going to shut down your monocytes and your natural killer cells. So we really, that's why we're having such a delayed time between infection and when we actually have symptoms, which is why I'm saying let's go ahead and do these things on a daily basis, a couple times a day even, especially gargling. I mean, that one's pretty benign. You could do it more than twice a day if you were so inclined to. A lot of people are complaining right now, how do I tell the difference between my seasonal allergies? Because if you're in the South, we're well under the way in terms of tree pollens being gross. I know my car was out for a walk the other day, and I noticed my nice red car was now yellow.
Yeah.
So we're definitely, everybody's complaining, especially if you have Mast, all right? We all have these tickles in our throat. And yes, we all have that dry cough that they say is associated with COVID, and, all these little symptoms. And it's just allergies. If it's your typical, you know what they are. But, doing these things can be really helpful, not just for COVID, but also for those seasonal allergies. And that's good for the mind because it quiets it. It's like, okay, I don't have those symptoms anymore and I can relax, which is important.
Right, because a big part of this is so many people so often think they have it, and that's why these videos with you have been extremely helpful. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, absolutely.